Up with KREM begins now.
Just ahead of 5:30 on our Tuesday morning, there are now plans for an emergency shelter space in Spokane. What that means for people experiencing homelessness.
A live look this morning. Yes, wet on the roads, but the rain is all done. So where do we go from here, and how will our temperatures react now that we don't have any more rain in the forecast?
All despite being temporarily closed, a local organization is helping some of the most vulnerable members of our community. How Meals on Wheels is still providing for seniors. Well, trick or treat this morning, we are talking about the city banning teens, banning teens from trick or treating, even threatening them with jail time or fines.
Now the city has never enforced the decade-old rule, but we want to get your take on trick-or-treating age limits. So tell us this morning, how old do you think you need to be for trick-or-treating? Head to krem.com/vote and let us know. It's really small on our screen right now. I think 49% of you are saying never too old.
Yeah, love that. Right? Everyone can partake in the fun, right?
I'll say this, if you're an older teenager, there's no like putting on a t-shirt that just says costume. I don't think that's good enough. The quality of the costume has to go up with age if you want to still, go door to door.
You can't just show up in the normal clothes. You got to have some sort of effort.
No last second ideas. Come on, we got to plan. If you don't got your costume now, you're procrastinating. So,
Thomas, would you deny somebody candy at your door?
If they were like in high school and just had the costume shirt.
Okay, that's
you want some effort into this.
I'd be like, that's not a costume, dude. That's a t-shirt. I can wear that. I can wear that to work sometimes. So
yeah.
Candy is expensive, so I get that.
All right, well, welcome back to Up with KREM. Great to have you with us on our Tuesday morning. Be sure to weigh in this morning. We'd love to hear what you think about how old is too old to enjoy Halloween. In the meantime, we're about a week away or so from Halloween.
Yeah, next Thursday.
Probably a little too early to know exactly what the forecast might be.
Yeah, or maybe, I bet Tom Sherry might have it right at the tail end of his 10-day later on tonight. I'll just stick with the 7-day today. But let's go with what's going to happen really just in the next 24 hours here. And the rain, I know it's been the big deal the last several days here. Oh, look at that. Finally exiting the area. I think just a couple locations near Wallace and Lookout Pass. Still seeing some light rain, but it's not going to be too much longer before that's out of here. So the next story, it's the winds. South-southwest at 15 miles per hour, and that's not even the wind gust speed. So it will be a windy day in front of us. By the way, it's just been cold all this month. Through 21 days, 19 of them have been below average, and it still looks like there are plenty of cold days on the horizon with this polar continental air mass moving into play early next week, but it will be a roller coaster for our temperatures. So we'll look at that trend all coming up in just a few minutes and any other weather notes that we might see along the way.
All right, Thomas, thank you. Happening right now in Indianapolis. A bus carrying students crashed into a building this morning and it hit a pawn shop. Police are still working to figure out what led up to that crash. When we checked in on this view about 20 minutes ago or so, the bus was inside the building. We only saw the very back end of the bus. It looks like they pulled it out of the building as of right now. According to our sister station, 26 students were on board, but no one was injured. Investigators have not announced the driver's condition, but of course we'll keep you updated as more information is made available. Well, this morning there will be 165 new beds and emergency warming shelters in Spokane. It's a measure approved last night by the Spokane City Council. KREM 2's Nicole Hernandez is in the newsroom with more on what we can expect. Good morning.
Good morning, Jen. City Council voted 6-0 last night, approving a new shelter in Browns Addition. The move will add 120 single spots and 45 family spaces here in Spokane. The new shelter is going to be at 527 South Cannon Street. Either Jules Helping Hands or the Salvation Army will run it, and once the city chooses which group will be in charge of the shelter, it can open in 2 to 6 weeks. It will run for 6 months and be open 24/7. The vote also approved the city to help financially to get Catholic charities to provide more emergency bed spaces. To get all this done, the city is planning on spending almost $1 million, and that money is going towards renting the new shelter's building, running that shelter, and financially helping the charities that are opening those new spaces. Any money that the city doesn't spend on the emergency warming shelters this winter will go back into their general fund. In the newsroom, I'm Nicole Hernandez.
Nicole, thank you. Well, an 1,800-foot stretch of Upriver Drive will soon be closed to traffic. Vista wants to build a park next to its headquarters. Leaders say it would provide better access to the river. It would also improve safety for pedestrians and cyclists.
I am a runner, and so I use the Centennial Trail almost every day, and that stretch of the trail is just awful for runners because it's so narrow, especially in the winter when they plow the snow off. We're basically having to run in the road just because that shoulder disappears. So I love having that safer connection to the rest of the Centennial Trail.
Yesterday, the Spokane City Council voted to vacate a portion of Upriver Drive. Work could begin as early as next spring. The free debris disposal program is now over in Spokane. Almost 4,000 people took advantage of that opportunity. A total of 883 tons of waste was brought in. The facility usually charges $54 per ton, and that means people living in Spokane saved a combined $47,000. If you still have debris in your yard, this is basically stemming from our early October snowstorm, you can put it in your green yard waste bin. Just make sure the branches fit inside the bin. Meals on Wheels is temporarily closed. Last week, while renovating the senior center, they discovered structural damage to the roof. It has forced them to suspend daily hot meals for the next few days. But it's not stopping the daily work of the organization.
We are doing everything we can, looking at long-term solutions, short-term solutions, have a full team working on it right now.
In the meantime, they are still accommodating those who rely on the center. They are distributing bus passes and grocery store gift cards to help address a portion of their needs. The organization is also working with other centers in the area for anyone who needs assistance. Well, they may look pretty, but they are illegal to feed. That is the message Coeur d'Alene city leaders are hoping to get across. They want people to stop feeding deer. Police say this issue is not any worse than it was in previous years, but folks living there told KREM 2 the unwanted guests do not want to leave.
You can't keep flowers, you can't keep trees. It's just, it's been really tough. You know, they're just a bunch of lawn rats is really kind of what they are.
Well, the fear is that deer may become too used to people, and that could cause car crashes and potentially spread disease to people and pets. The city is reminding all those in the Lake City area against feeding wildlife. Anyone caught feeding deer could face a $100 fine. Well, we have an update on a cat brought into scraps. They say he is now walking and eating. Last week, he was found with severe injuries. He had a dislocated hip and pelvis. And the man who brought him in said the cat's name was Achilles. Neighborhood residents say he is known actually as Sylvester. Well, Scraps originally said Sylvester's odds of recovering were 50-50. Those who would like to donate to his care can do so through the Scraps Hope Foundation. Well, that's your Morning Rush. More news in less time. You can let us know what's happening in your neighborhood by using the hashtag #UpWithKREM. 5:38 now. Let's check in with Dana Marie.
Well, it's time for your speed feed stories you'll see on social media this morning. Check your mailbox because Coldplay fans, they have announced their next album the old-fashioned way by sending out letters. Coldplay's first album in 4 years is called Everyday Life for 100 Years. Now, Dan tweeted, "I love this type of real old-fashioned post. Thanks, Coldplay. New album due out November 22nd. So keep a lookout for that one." And okay, so do you guys remember this video of the viral rat? This is a pizza rat dragging pizza down a flight of the New York City subway stairs. I think this is hilarious. Well, now it has competition as New York City's most famous invader of the street. So Thomas tweeted, "Tired pizza rat, wired cigarette cockroach." Yeah, that's what you're looking at right now. A cockroach holding and dragging a cigarette across a grate. This video has more than 3.7 million views on Twitter, and it's a tough world out there in New York City, so I guess the animals just have to let loose somehow. This makes me laugh. Well, this next viral story is insanely impressive in my book. A UK dad left his 3-year-old daughter for 10 minutes in the kitchen, and she found that he ate 18 cups of yogurt in a single sitting. He was both stunned and impressed, and I think the internet was too. with a GIF. I'm not even mad. That's amazing. Joseph sends his respect over to Twitter. This little girl who I think, honestly, Jen, could have a future in hot dog eating contest. 18 cups of yogurt. Can we go back to that photo, actually?
She's a growing girl, you know?
There's the
hungry.
respect. Look.
Cute. I mean, I'm not a parent, but I am an aunt. And yeah, once they, are up and moving, they're just kind of everywhere, right?
So the mom was in the living room. The little girl was in the kitchen with her 7-year-old brother. And the dad stepped out to go answer the door or something. And he came back with 18 cups gone. I mean, that girl's tummy is probably going to be so
right. I guess
sore.
It's better than, candy or something like that. I mean, yogurt, it could be worse, right?
Good for the gut.
Yeah.
I feel like that would be my child.
Too funny. All right, Dana Marie, thank you. It is 5:40 now. Well, still to come on Up with KREM. This morning, we are talking about a city receiving backlash for punishing teens for trick-or-treating. So we want your take. Should there be an age limit on trick-or-treating? Head to the KREM 2 app to vote now.
And in the next half hour, multiple people say they received the shelter-in-place alert in North Spokane. What we know coming up at 6.
And congratulations to Tammy Seal. You just won 2 Up with KREM coffee mugs, coffee beans, and a gift card to Thomas Hammer Coffee Roasters. If you would like to enter to win, subscribe to the KREM newsletter or enter on the Up with KREM Facebook page.